you're not struggling because you're poor. You're struggling because you live in the USA.
All right, I need a vent because I honestly just hate it here. The United States sucks.
Let me ask you something. You live in a country where mass incidents are a normal part of the school year, and you're worried that leaving is what's unsafe?
Grocery prices in the States have reached the point of insanity.
Here, people live in coffin-sized apartments.
What's up, America? It is too fucking difficult to live here in the United States.
And more people are seriously looking at leaving the United States.
It's just straight up too expensive to live in the United States of America.
I need to talk about how bad I think it's gotten in the US.
Welcome to the United States in 2025, where living life isn't life. It's just a monthly subscription to suffering.
Let's be honest. America doesn't feel like the richest country in the world anymore. People are working full-time jobs and still can't afford a decent life. Every month feels like a survival challenge. Rent, bills, groceries, gas. It just never ends. The country that once bragged about freedom and opportunity now feels broken for the people actually living in it. Because what good is freedom if you're constantly broke, exhausted, and drowning in bills? We're not here to sugarcoat anything. We're here to talk about how living in America has become a daily struggle and why everything feels like it's falling apart. Before we jump in, we're pushing hard to hit 1,000 subscribers. Every sub really helps us keep making videos that tell the truth about what's actually happening out there. So if you can, hit that like button and subscribe. It means a lot. Now let's talk about how the cost of living turned the American dream into a bad joke.
Let me ask you something. You live in a country where mass incidents are a normal part of the school year, and you're worried that leaving is what's unsafe? It's day 2 of the 12 days of relocation, and let's be real. First, let's just demolish this idea that America is the safest place, because what does safety even mean? They'll show you a scary headline on Mexico or Colombia, but not the real statistics. But let's go deeper. Let's talk about the safety that Americans honestly never get to experience. The safety of knowing you won't go broke if you get sick. The safety of not having to do a constant threat assessment every time you walk out the door. This right here, this is the cost nobody puts on a spreadsheet. It's the exhaustion of being black in America. You're tired. You're sick of being tired. But that peace of mind that you're craving, that's not a luxury. That's a necessity. And it's a cost of living that America is honestly no longer providing. Truth is, you don't have to be rich to live well abroad. You just need to be informed. This is exactly why we built the virtual relocation conference on November 22nd. This isn't just a how-to event. It is actual truth on a real game plan. You worried about safety? We got you. We have real talk from expats that are actually living abroad. You worried about cost? We got you too. We're bringing in financial experts to help stop letting the fear confuse you about the cost of living and give you the life that you deserve. Your peace of mind is not for sale, but these early bird tickets are, and they are almost gone. So click the link in our bio, get your ticket, and let's get back to redefining your life. I'll see you guys at 3 p.m. for day 2 of the 12 days of relocation. Make sure you guys are following with more help to get your butt out of the United States. I'll see y'all soon.
Welcome to the United States in 2025, where living life isn't life. It's just a monthly subscription to suffering. You don't really live here. You just renew your misery every 30 days. Rent for a 1-bedroom apartment? $2,000. Wi-Fi to make sure you can connect to the internet to pay your bills? $100. Groceries? Yeah, I guess you should just sacrifice your firstborn child to Kroger. All hail Kroger. And God forbid you breathe wrong, because now you've got a $300 urgent care bill.
There absolutely are other ways, and more people are seriously looking at leaving the United States. You go to work all day, every day, and you basically work your life away, and you have to beg for some vacation time. You hope that you can use that sick time without being frowned upon, and you hope that you just don't get let go because there's layoffs going on, and they hope that they're not let go too early before hitting that retirement milestone. That way the company doesn't have to pay out all of the benefits. It's another problem that's taking place. It's really harsh here. Other countries are not like that. You know, it's not every country that operates the way we do here in the United States. And there are other ways. There absolutely are other ways. And more people are seriously looking at leaving the United States. It's a trend that's been happening, especially since 2020, with the rise of remote work and people being able to just kind of leave and explore other areas of the world while still working, but not having to be tied to a cubicle or four walls.
So I saw this guy talk about like the cost of living and how he just can't afford to live, and I feel like I need to talk about like how bad I think it's gotten in the US, because I think it's gotten really bad. Like, we know it's bad, but it's bad. So 5 years ago in 2020, I graduated from college and I had a job offer within like 3-4 weeks after graduating college. And I moved to downtown Dallas at the time, and I lived in a studio apartment, and I believe it was like $905 a month. Had a view of downtown. It wasn't in the best part. Botman Jean unfortunately did get murdered there, but it was a really affordable apartment, and I made about $40,000 a year. So I could afford it, and it was great. I went and I looked back, and the studios that I lived in are now almost double what I paid, which is insane to me. Also, when I was in college, I always got groceries at Aldi's, and I could get meat and everything I needed for 1 week for one person. It was about $45 to $50 US. I went to Aldi's a couple days ago, bought groceries for me and my partner, and excluding meat, because I buy my meat from a local farm, so just getting like fruits, vegetables, and like crackers. We don't really get snacks, and like grains and stuff like that. It ended up being about $100. Obviously, I spent the majority of my 20s living in the EU, and I've only lived back in the US for 1 year, but I can just say that I think it's gotten extremely expensive. 40K a year would have been a really good salary 5 years ago, in a low cost of living area, but it's not. I bought my house last July, and if I were to buy my house again, for example, I could not afford it. They built an apartment complex that you can rent right next to my building. I Googled how much people are paying to rent in these apartments, similar floorage. Honestly, part of it's a basement unit, and it is about like $500 to $600 more than my mortgage. They're also building $1 million townhouses 2 blocks away from the street that I live in. I literally could not afford, aside from like losing my job and all those other variables, I literally could not afford to buy my house again. And if it wasn't for the property taxes, that I don't pay property taxes, I would not be able to own a house. But yeah, it's really jarring to see how expensive it's gotten, and how devastating it is. And I'm always really grateful I don't have kids, because imagine you're a family of 4 and you have to feed 4 people and you don't make even $100,000 a year. Like, it is insane. And then housing is $2,500. I went looking because I wanted to move to a different part of the city, rent out my condo, and then rent some part in the city, thinking it might be cheaper. I toured a bunch of apartments. You are getting less space. You're getting you're paying $2,500, maybe $2,800 for a studio in Philadelphia. Obviously, if you're from New York, it's not that bad, but it's pretty expensive for locals here, especially given the median wage is not that high. It's insane. It's extremely expensive. If you are feeling the pressure and the heat of the rising cost of living, you're not alone. Even high earners are coming out and saying it's extremely expensive. Money is not going as far as it used to.
You used to hear it all the time. Work hard, save money, and you'll be fine. But what happens when the math just doesn't work anymore? Rents are skyrocketing, groceries are unaffordable, and wages haven't moved in decades. A single-bedroom apartment in a major city now costs more than $2,000 a month. And that's before utilities or food. Meanwhile, the average American worker is still earning around $15 to $20 an hour. That's barely enough to cover rent, let alone survive. So people are working 2 or even 3 jobs just to stay afloat. They're not living, they're barely existing.
You're not struggling because you're poor. You're struggling because you live in the USA. You're struggling because prices have gone up tremendously, but the wages haven't. You're struggling because your bills continue to increase, but your wages haven't. You're struggling because you have greedy, corrupt CEOs of companies that are continuing to record record profits, but are refusing to pay their workers a livable wage. You're struggling because the country that prints money won't give that money back to its people. You're struggling because the country that is in $37 trillion and counting worth of debt somehow finds a way to give billions of dollars to fund new wars, but won't find any money to fund the poor. You're struggling because this country is stealing 30 to 40% of your income, if not more. You're struggling because after this country wrongfully took 30 to 40% of your income, they're telling you to pay more during tax season. You're struggling because homes that used to cost $150,000 to $200,000 10 to 15 years ago are now costing $400,000 if not $500,000. You're struggling because those starter homes that used to be seen as affordable are now being bought by large corporations. You're struggling because rent was under $1,000 10 to 15 years ago is now costing almost $3,000 for a one bedroom. You're struggling because these greedy landlords continue to increase the rent. You're struggling because a $100 grocery bill 10 to 15 years ago will get you a huge haul, will now only get you a few things in 2025. You're struggling because the gas that you used to fill up your car used to be $1 and some change per gallon is now almost $4 a gallon. You're struggling because the cost of having a good time and living life has gone up tremendously. An airplane ticket used to be $200 round trip is now $400 one way. It used to cost under $1,000 to enjoy a vacation. Now it's costing almost $3,000 to $4,000 depending on where you go. You're struggling because you're forced to get a second job just to make ends meet as things continue to skyrocket. You're struggling because the American dream is no longer the American dream. It's the American nightmare.
What I'm about to say is probably going to make you sick, but you probably need to hear it. You're not bad with money. America is really this expensive right now. But let's talk what it really costs to be average in this America. The average American household income is somewhere between $50,000 and $70,000 in that range. And after taxes, a lot of these people bring home anywhere from $40,000 to $55,000, which is not very much. Daycare for 2 kids costs upwards of $27,000 a year, which leaves, give or take, 19-ish grand to live off of. Breaking it down even further, that leaves about $350, give or take, a week for living expenses. And most people's household costs are well above that. The average household grocery cost right now is $800 to $900 a month. An average 3-bedroom apartment is upwards of $2,100 a month. I saw something recently that said that the most comfortable livable income would be anywhere from $175,000 to $220,000 to be able to live comfortably. So no amount of eating ramen noodles or cutting out Starbucks or starving is going to change that. Our system is broken 110%. And we still continue to climb that ladder, hoping for better tomorrows. We think with that broken thought process that if we keep climbing, we're going to find the top. What we happen to have forgotten is that we have met that debt ceiling a long fucking time ago. So if you voted for the Make America Great slogan, please let me know how this makes America great. Is this adding up for you? Because the cost of egg prices are not getting better. The cost of gas is not getting better. None of this is getting better. And if this isn't adding up for you, welcome to my page. I definitely think you are the bigger part of America who is suffering from the consequences of this administration. The math is not mathing for me currently. So if you're also feeling the burn, hit the save button, share it out, follow me, help support another average American that is out here just trying to supplement her income.
All right, a fresh new study released this morning says fewer of us are feeling happy here in the United States. That is according to the annual World Happiness Report. Now, as it turns out, you'll have to cross an ocean to find the happiest place on earth. Look at that. Finland coming out #1 in this report, followed by Denmark, Iceland, Sweden, and the Netherlands. US came in at number 24, which is its lowest ranking since the report was first published back in 2012.
Yeah, this happiness report had some sad news for the U.S. A big contributing factor was a rise in the number of Americans eating their meals alone, with 1 in 4 saying they now eat by themselves. The U.S. was also one of the few countries to see a rise in what's called deaths of despair. These are people dying from suicide or substance abuse. The report showed a general increasing in anxiety, worry, and stress, along with a decline in trust, not only in the U.S., but also around the world. Almost 1 in 5 young adults globally have no social support. And bringing up the rear at the bottom of this list will come as no surprise for many. Afghanistan was determined to be the most miserable country, with Afghan women saying their lives are especially difficult. Last year, the Taliban banned women from education and even showing and speaking in public.
There absolutely are other ways, and more people are seriously looking at leaving the United States. You go to work all day, every day, and you basically work your life away, and you have to beg for some vacation time. You hope that you can use that sick time without being frowned upon, and you hope that you just don't get let go because there's layoffs going on, and they hope that they're not let go too early before hitting that retirement milestone. That way the company doesn't have to pay out all of the benefits. It's another problem that's taking place. It's really harsh here. Other countries are not like that. You know, it's not every country that operates the way we do here in the United States. And there are other ways. There absolutely are other ways. And more people are seriously looking at leaving the United States. It's a trend that's been happening, especially since 2020, with the rise of remote work and people being able to just kind of leave and explore other areas of the world while still working, but not having to be tied to a cubicle or 4 walls.
Groceries, out of control. Gas, outrageous. Healthcare, forget about it. A trip to the grocery store that used to cost $60 now costs over $100. Eggs, milk, bread, basic essentials are turning into luxury items for millions. Inflation isn't just numbers on a chart, it's parents skipping meals so their kids can eat. It's elderly people cutting their medication in half because they can't afford refills. It's families living paycheck to paycheck with nothing left at the end of the month. And what do politicians say? Everything's fine. Inflation is cooling. Tell that to the person choosing between rent and food.
What's up, America? It is too fucking difficult to live here in the United States in the year 2025. Holy fucking shit! I have never seen a time when people require so much necessity just to live in America, but also the price for those necessities are so high. Most of America's literally living paycheck to paycheck and hand to mouth. At the same time, the requirements of responsibility to survive here in the United States have never been greater. People used to live a simple life, and Jesus fucking Christ, is it complicated now and expensive. But if you don't have these expensive fucking bullshit objects, you can't survive. You have to have a car, you have to have a phone, you have to have internet just to do anything anymore. And this shit's just baked into American society now. You can barely survive without a phone, a car, or internet. What the fuck is going on here? On top of all that, prices have not come down whatsoever since Joe Biden's been president. Not a goddamn penny. Prices for housing is still just as high as it was 3 years into the Biden administration. Same with gas prices. Food prices in some cases are double or up more. Utility costs are going up. Has anyone noticed that? I sure as fuck have. Hello, red fucking flag. Winter's coming up. Car prices, insurance prices, health insurance is fucked. They're denying more people coverage even though people are paying more. Auto insurance is through the fucking roof. I mean, car lending companies are going bankrupt, ladies and gentlemen. The shit's really slapping in the fan. Have you noticed fewer jobs available? I've noticed it. Have you noticed stagnant pay? Sure have, bitch. Look, the necessity to live here in the United States as far as making your ends meet is through the roof and unacceptable. And people aren't living in ginormous luxury. I live in a double, by the way. This right here is the nicest part of the house. You know why I live in a double? Because I can't afford property taxes or a home or down payments. Nobody can anymore. It's fucking ridiculous. And then if you finally break that wall working 70 hours a week and you can finally do it, you're never even around to enjoy it. You drive your car to and from work, never actually going anywhere with it. You live in a big house that you pay for, but all you get to do is sleep in it. The days of having a vacation are fucking over with. Now, I know the Federal Reserve has a lot to do with prices staying high and companies are price gouging. And of course, the government's been inept when it comes to bringing prices down because Democrats are unwilling to do anything or make any policy, and Republicans generally only help the rich. But what the fuck is the option here? What the fuck is everybody supposed to do? You can tell, there's just a general feeling. You can tell that it's getting slightly, little by little, more and more difficult every single week, bit by bit. Every one of you fucking people can feel it. I mean, just in the month of August, auto repair prices are up 15% in a goddamn month, not 5 years, a goddamn month. So whatever the fuck is going on with this whole system, we need to pump the fucking brakes and figure it the fuck out. Because 90% of you out there are struggling. No matter how much you make $120,000 a year, you're still being banged out financially. And the debt of everybody, don't even get me fucking started on the goddamn debt everybody owes. Holy fuck. So what's the end result here? 99.9% of all money going to the top 1,000 people, and it's basically Thunderdome to fight for bread to survive? I mean, I understand making money, the American dream. You come over here, you fucking start with nothing, you build it up through hard work, you make a $10 million company. That's great. That's what you're supposed to do. You're not that kind of wealth. You're a self-made man if you do that. But these motherfuckers up at the top 4 or 5%, yeah, you know what? Fuck you, asshole. You have a motherfucking enough. Everyone else on the planet is struggling except you. You know what that means? There's a fucking problem with your bitch asses. And I'm not some dumb fucking socialist, but I understand shit when I smell it. And the rich in this country, I can smell your motherfucking shit you're shoveling, bitch. I see what you're doing. You're gonna fucking make everybody fight back and forth and divide them while you pinch every penny and fuck us all financially. By the time everybody realizes it, you got us in fucking neo-feudalism. You know what? Fuck you. It's time to lead a charge against you pieces of shit.
Grocery prices in the States have reached the point of insanity. I just went and bought 3 items, and I want you to guess how much it cost me, okay? I bought a salad kit, and then I bought Beyond Meat, which arguably should be cheaper than real meat. I mean, it's made from plants, right? I bought a tub of cashews. The cashews alone cost me $12. $12. That's nuts. For 3 items, it cost me $24 and change. A quarter way to $100. Now, at what point is this just not tenable anymore? No one can afford this. This is becoming absolutely bonkers. I thought it was bad 4 years ago. And I thought it was bad last year. No, we've gotten to the point where I don't even know what next year is going to look like. Okay, if a loaf of bread is $6 and a tub of nuts is $12, I don't even know where we go from here. No one can afford this. I know grocery prices have gone up all over the world. I feel like in the States, we are really feeling it right now. Am I crazy for thinking this? I mean, what do you think? What does your grocery bill look like lately? Because mine is insane.
On top of that, working almost every single day, getting no time off, getting treated not in a way I would prefer. I don't make enough money to survive. I make enough money to pay my bills and barely have anything left over.
Cost of living continues to rise. Wages are stagnant. This isn't rocket science. The blueprint to the American life and American dream 40, 50 years ago was sold much differently than it was now. Back in the day, wife, maybe a couple kids, house, car, one fucking job. Now, you can work a very prestigious corporate job and not even have anything left over.
The economy is no longer built on people growing wealth. It is now built on people just racking up as much debt as they possibly can.
The system is very broken. And now that the basic necessities and just things of life that normally should not be so freaking difficult to happen, such as buying a house, are extremely difficult. And even people with a dual income household with pretty decent jobs cannot afford it.
Our generation went to high school, went to college with the promise that if you go to school, get a great paying job, and then one day you'll be able to have your own home, have your own family. We were essentially sold a scheme that is no longer working, with jobs that are not covering all of our bills, so we're getting second jobs on the weekend when we're supposed to be relaxing, unwinding from our corporate job.
Forcing myself to do this week after week after week is just getting unbearable.
I am at work and working more than I am with my own two boys, my own family, and that breaks my fucking heart because I feel like I'm blinking and they're just growing up and I'm like not a part of it. I feel like I'm not a part of their lives.
We are not meant to just pay bills and die and work our asses off until we're old and we don't have the energy to enjoy our life.
I have to spend every moment of my life focused on how much money I can make. They've raised the retirement age and want us to work until the day that we die during a time where living costs are outrageous. I just want some quality of life.
None of us are okay. I feel like we're all in a darker place mentally than we've ever been. Things are not getting better. It feels like the end of times, and yet we're forced to go to our 9-to-5, shrug our shoulders, and pretend like it's all fine. It's not fine.
Are we ever going to be in a position again, making enough money to survive, chasing after the American dream, owning a house with the ability to afford health care? But should people have to work hard with 2 or 3 jobs just to be able to afford a place to live, leaving no time for rest or the ability to spend time with loved ones? Seems like our situation is bad and it only keeps getting worse.
And if you're feeling any kind of shame about your financial situation, if you are getting up, going to work every day, doing your best to put food on the table and put a roof over your family's head, then it's not your fault.
But it's so frustrating when you work so hard and you're just stuck in the same place, if not taking a step back. You contemplate your life choices.
All right, I need a vent because I honestly just hate it here. The United States sucks. Like, America is so unserious. Like, they seriously just screw up the working class. It's so unfair that the rich just get all the benefits in the world and the working class has to struggle and live paycheck to paycheck. Let me start off with saying that I pay roughly over a little bit of $1,000 a month for our family of 4 for medical insurance, for dental insurance, and it doesn't pay absolutely anything. I took my kids to the dentist the other day and I paid out of pocket like $500, okay? $500, and I'm paying over $1,000 in insurance a month, and you can't even pay that. A year, I am paying over $12,000 in medical insurance to only get slapped in the face. I started therapy, and you guys know how much a session is going to cost me? No wonder our mental health is so bizarre here in the United States, because how can a person that needs mental health help afford it? Like, my sessions are going to cost me $65 a session, okay? I can barely afford that. Like, are you joking? I took Valentina to do like occupational therapy just so that, you know, she can have a safe place to like play and express her feelings, you know, work with like a therapist, like, because obviously her mom can't control her own emotions and feelings. So how am I supposed to help her navigate her feelings? I just got a text saying each session is going to cost you about $120 to $145. You're telling me I have to pay that out of pocket when I am paying over $1,000 monthly for insurance? I honestly just hate America and how they treat the working class, and the rich just get away. Like, I am paying into taxes, I'm paying into all this stuff so that the rich can get a tax break. Like, you're joking, right? I am literally living paycheck to paycheck as a nurse. I have a career, and as a nurse, I am living paycheck to paycheck. Like, be for real right now. Well, if you're still here, thanks for coming to my TED Talk. Now I'm going to take my anxiety pill because, you know, I got put on anxiety meds because I had a panic attack in front of my children the other day. Anyways, the United States is just the best country to live in, you guys. It's honestly the best.
Behind all the numbers and charts, there's pain. There are single mothers crying in their cars after night shifts. There are families living in motels because rent is too high. There are young people working 60 hours a week and still wondering if they'll ever own a home. This isn't just an economic crisis, it's an emotional one, a moral one, a national one. People are losing hope, and once hope is gone, what's left? America can't keep going like this. If the cost of living keeps rising while wages stay still, the middle class will vanish completely. It's already happening. The rich are buying more homes than they can live in, while others can't even rent one. The economy looks strong on paper, but for the people living inside it, it's a nightmare. America used to be the dream. Now it's becoming a warning to the rest of the world. If this keeps going, if wages don't rise, if housing isn't fixed, if greed keeps running everything, then the American dream will be nothing more than a story we tell our kids about how things used to be. If you made it this far, thank you. It means a lot that people still care enough to listen. We're pushing hard to reach 1,000 subs, and every one of you motivates us to keep telling the truth, no matter how uncomfortable it is, because someone has to. Stay safe, stay aware, and never stop asking. What happened to the country that was supposed to be great?